Alright. I gotta wash my hands. Okay. I'm back. Wait, hold on. Excuse me, hold on. Hi. Oh, excuse me. I wanna recap my vacation. So last week I went to Jamaica. It was honestly, for the first experience, it was super fun. I would say it was very eye-opening, and it was definitely a perspective check. So the first thing we did the airport. We went from LAX to Houston, which is a pretty smooth plane ride, and then we did Houston to Jamaica. And luckily the time difference is only 2 hours, so it wasn't a crazy thing to like get back to once we got home. So we went and we went to Ocho Rios, which is one of the main cities. So I think there's 4 main cities in Jamaica. There's Ocho Rios, Kingston, there's something else. I don't remember those ones. I just remember the one I was in. So we went to Ocho Rios, and instead of staying in a like fancy bougie hotel, because that's too expensive, we stayed in like a $200 hotel a night. And I think some people think like, oh, the less money the hotel is, the like it's kind of not clean or not whatever, but it was. Surprisingly, we went Ocho Rios. The hotel we stayed in was Signal Palm Hotel, and it was nice. It was at a very beautiful rooftop pool. If you saw my last live, that's where I was. I was on the rooftop pool, and it was hot and humid, but not too crazy for me. I can usually handle a little bit of heat. And then what else was it? The hotel staff was really nice. They were helpful and like helping with our bags, you know, giving advice, and hello. Yeah, they were helpful with giving advice and just making us feel welcome, and the hotel had a security, like 24-hour security, cameras, all that. It was interesting that like a lot of the gates they had aren't electric, so someone has to like physically open the gate for you, which is definitely like a perspective look, since like you don't really think about all the gates that much, because a lot of like those big sliding gates, they're electric. No one has to physically open it. But yeah, here they had to physically drag the big gate open and close for you to leave the hotel. So we got to the hotel. It was like mid-afternoon, because from their airport to the hotel, it was an hour drive. So it was a great experience, like for the first time, to see how blue the water is, how clear just it is too, and then the green, it was very green. I have pictures of outside, yeah, just outside in general. Let me see. For for a good looking outside picture. And yeah, okay. Here's a picture of me. It's really pretty. Pretty. And this was the view from the hotel. Like out, not the hotel, sorry, from the airport. That was the view from the airport around, which I thought was pretty. This is also a view of the airport. So that was a good first like wake up call, was how green it is, and just the water's clear, blue, and I was like, okay, this is definitely different from where I live, because I mean we have beaches and stuff in California, but a lot of our grassland is dry, and it's just ready to light up and into a fire every minute. Which that's why we have so many fires. Our grass is dry. We're in droughts, so we don't have water in California. So it's definitely a change to have greenery. So get back to the story. We made it to the hotel. We decided to we chilled for a minute, like got unpacked, and then we decided to walk around, see how it is outside the hotel. So since it was like a cheaper hotel, it was basically in the center of the city, so we really were going to experience the culture, like the people that actually like live there, around, not just like fully trained like hotel employees. So we definitely wanted a cultural experience and to have food they eat, not food we eat. So we went outside, we were walking around, it was kind of hot, and by this time it was like 6:40, but then it was getting dark, and for that experience it was interesting to notice that a lot of the men like to flirt, like to look all over you, like to catcall, which nothing completely against catcalling. It's just a little. It was just happening a little too much, and yeah, and they would just walk up to you, ask you if you wanted a tour, ask you if you like needed something, some like weed, since they're really into weed there. That was like a lot of the questions were that, and obviously like they can tell we're tourists, so it's definitely pretty aggressive with like wanting to sell you stuff. Like they'll be like, come here, um, look at this or do this. So that was definitely the first like adjustment was um, realizing that every minute you walk down the street, someone's gonna try to sell you something. Because I was thinking I was gonna be able to walk by myself around, but we realized because I went with my mom, we realized I couldn't do that because the men they were just too aggressive, a little too interested in me, and we just felt it wasn't gonna be safe for me to walk around by myself, and we were right, it wasn't that safe for that aspect. Um, so that night we were hungry, so we wanted we saw like they had KFC and Burger King, and especially like since we were both tired, we wanted something like quick, and little did we know it wasn't quick. It was not quick at all. So first we tried KFC. There wasn't even a line. There was just like a group of people like in the front counter. Like you couldn't tell who was ordering. You couldn't tell who was waiting. You couldn't tell who worked there. That's how just yeah. But it was like nothing was making sense in in how we could order food. So Burger King was next door. So we went into Burger King. There's a good amount of like people in the line, but it was an actual line. We could tell what was going on. So we were like, oh, okay, let's try this Burger King. Um, so the line ended up taking like 15 minutes to wait in line just to order the food. And then once we ordered the food, I think the cashier up front, it seemed like she was in her training phase. So I think she was just a little slower than most cashiers would be. Because there was a manager guy like right next to her, kind of like pointing to show her what to click. And so we ordered our food. It was like two like which one's Burger King? Whoppers, two Whoppers, plain, and two drinks. And so first of all, we in Jamaica they do take U.S. dollars, so you don't have to change to the currency. But after going there, I would recommend you do because they will lie to you. That's for sure. But we can go about that later. So she typed in the total, and then we were like, "Oh, do you take U.S. dollars?" She was like, "Yeah," and then I don't know how they do conversions there. They don't really do it because we pulled out a 20, and then she's like, "It'll be $20," and it probably wasn't because we got two Whoppers. I got one meal, so it's like Whoppers, fries, and we also got onion rings. My mom got a Whopper and a drink. So like here, that would probably be a little more than $20 now. So we think she just didn't want to try to do the math and was just saw 20 and was like, that's probably it. Which I don't know if that makes sense, but we are like, okay, $20, that's pretty good. We probably thought it was gonna be more, but she was like $20. So we're like, okay, cool. And we waited there for the first 10 minutes. We were like, okay, it is a busier time. People are like wanting to get food. But then once it hit 50 minutes, we were like, ooh. So yeah, we pretty much waited for our food about an hour to um to get Burger King. And so I don't think fast food is really fast food in Jamaica. I think they might consider it a restaurant. I don't know, but it took an hour to get our two burgers and whatever, and like the drinks we got definitely were not the drinks we ordered, but like with how many people I guess that were eating that day, they were not the staff were not prepared to like organize the drinks or anything. So like they just like threw drinks on the counter, and then when the people would come to get the food, they would just guess. They would just give whatever drinks they were giving, and I don't blame them. It's busy, but I don't know. There could be a system like, oh, the orange, the, but no, they're like, oh, here's our drink, and they're like, we're guessing if the thing is brown, it's a Pepsi or cola or whatever. They just gave us whatever was there, um, and we're like, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, they're just gonna give whatever, and then so we went back to the hotel. We ate the food, num num. After being like in like 2 plane rides to get there, we were hungry, so we just like were like whatever. It doesn't matter that the burger isn't right. It doesn't matter. We're hungry. We're eating it. Num num. We ate it. We slept. The next day, um, I really stayed in the hotel by myself. I did swimming on the rooftop. That was when I was live last week. So if you want to see that, you could see I was swimming in the rooftop doing some stuff, showing around me how beautiful the sky was and everything. But once my mom got back, we where did we decided to try to remember what we did. What did we do first? I think we walked around again. Oh, I do want to say I got breakfast at the hotel. I do want to say I got breakfast. I did take a picture. It might take me a minute to find said breakfast, but it was really good. So, when we were speaking to like our tour guides, our drivers, he was like giving us the kind of like what food is good. Since I'm a chef, I'm always interested in the food and what is like the important local food to try. So he said saltfish is like their most famous, it's like their most important fish in Jamaica. So here is like a saltfish stew that the they made at the hotel for me. So a saltfish stew with fried plantains, and I'm pretty sure up there is it's some type of fruit. I feel like he said grapefruit or something fruit. It's some type of fruit, and then the little buns right next to them, they're basically like corn buns, and they were really good. So they call them dumplings. These, I was asking the guy, I was like, oh, what are these? What's this and this? Because I want to know what I'm eating. I want to maybe try to recreate it at home. So he was saying these are their dumplings, what they call dumplings. So, but they're fried dumplings. So it's basically bread. It's like flour, water, corn, a little bit of sugar, baking soda. They knead it up in a dough. They make the dough, then they fry it in oil. Yeah, then they fry it in oil, and and it's really good. It's like kind of sweet and salty at the same time. And then on the side, this is their steamed vegetables. It's like steamed. It's not kale, but it's greens, steamed greens. So that was really good, in my opinion. So that was like the hotel breakfast I had, and it was like a good introduction of like what Jamaican dishes are. I because if you don't know, I was born in Haiti, so I have that Caribbean feeling, or in the Caribbean, I kind of know what the flavors would be. The dishes obviously are going to be different between the different islands. So, but I had a feeling it would feel familiar to me. So, that was good. Um, and I love the fried plantains. They were really good, and those little dumplings are really good. And it's fun to me how, like, when we think of dumplings, a lot of the times we think of like the Asian dumplings, which are slightly different. They have like the meat inside it, but like in different countries, a lot of times dumplings will be bread. Because when I was in culinary school, we were cooking German food, and I was tasked to cook the dumplings. In my brain, I was like, of course, dumplings, I love them. I was thinking of the Asian dumplings, but with German dumplings, it was like bread kind of mixed with some spices, but then they boil it, and I don't know about that, but it was the backstory on like the German dumplings is because in the war, we all know what war, Germany, they didn't have much food going on. They had bread going on. So they were just trying out different ways to do their bread. Because I'm sure it's annoying to eat sliced bread and jam or whatever they eat all the time. So they're like, let's try stuff out with this bread so we can pretend it's slightly different than it is every single day. So they're like, let's make dumplings. And that is the German dumpling, which I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan of it, but I also feel like I didn't I followed the directions, but they kept falling apart and breaking. So I don't know if there was something specific that would hold them together so they would be the balls that they were supposed to be, but it wasn't happening for me. And I'm totally fine with that. But it was a good learning experience at school. So now, when I was in Jamaica this week, I understood what the guy was talking about when he said dumplings. I was like, oh, okay. So you guys do dumplings like that too. So that was like an interesting realization. So yeah, German dumplings, Jamaican dumplings, they're, they're, they're real good. And they're perfect stew. And that's also what I noticed being in Jamaica is that the food um, portions are more accurate to what food portions should be. Because in America, like, the food portions are way too big. That's why everyone's fat and obese. They're way too big. Food portions should not be like this. Like in Jamaica, they have like the perfect amount of food portions. You had one little main entree. You had a couple sides. That's how it should be. It shouldn't be a big entree and like I don't even know, too much food. So I really like the that aspect was it was the perfect amount of food for me. So that was the next day. I just wanted to recap on my breakfast. But yeah, so breakfast was good. Then we decided to walk around in the day, go to the shops, buy some souvenirs. So we were walking around. We went to the craft center first. So since our hotel is basically like in the center of the city, everything was nearby. So like the craft center was literally down the street, across the street. And like the KFC also not that far, and whatever not that far. There was a market not that far. And like to us, it was good to explore, and the city is so like for walkability that like we didn't use Google Maps. We literally just were able to like find our way to like different spots without a map. I still need to use a Google Map when I'm in my town. That's how That's how walkable the city was. Like, we didn't even use a map. We literally we cruised around, and if we like were like, ooh, we asked someone like, oh, is there a market by? And they're like, somewhere over there, and then we went somewhere over there. So we go to the craft center, and at the craft center, like everything kind of looks the same because each crafts people, they have their own craft stall, but everyone's basically like selling the same type of merchandise. So we thought we were only gonna go to a couple, but in Jamaica, the people were a little aggressive and were like, if you could go to her craft thing, you have to go to my craft thing. The next person was like, come to my craft thing. And it was a whole lot of people being like, you need to come to like see my crafts, which is nothing wrong with that. That's how they make money. That's survival. They're there all day and almost through the night. So if they're like, oh, and since we went in the summer, which isn't really tourist season in Jamaica, like we found out from like talking to people, like their tourist season is December, because like everywhere that's cold, they go to Jamaica where it's always warm. So we went to the so everyone was like, come to my place, and they're like fighting with each other and yelling at each other, like, hey, you shouldn't go to his thing. Pretty aggressive about it. And so we ended up basically having to go through every craft thing. And since we don't have much money, we're pretty good at like being like, ooh, I don't have money, so I can't buy anything. So like we have a amount of money, but we don't want to make it obvious. And also they like to haggle sometimes. Like some things they put out a price that we're like, that feels like a little too much. So we'd be like, oh, what will you do if like, I buy this? Um, like these two, will it be a little less? Or like we'd be like, they'd be like, oh, this is like this guy. He was signing something for like, he was just trying to say like 15 or whatever, and I was like, I have 10, which I mean, I did have a little more than 10, but I don't want them to know that. So I was like, I have 10, and then he's like, can you do 12? So I was like, okay, fine, I can do 12. So it was a whole lot of like maneuvering things, maneuvering people, because like they would bleed you dry of money if you kept saying yes to all of them. So you gotta say no, and I like you're super poor too. I mean, in America, California, we are kind of poor, but in Jamaica, obviously, $20 goes a long way in Jamaica. Like if you're local, $20 goes a long way. If you're not, it doesn't. They'll overcharge you. So I'll be right back. I do have some of the crafts to show. Okay, so I got other craft, like I got earrings and a skirt, but I use a skirt. Oh, I have the picture of the skirt that I got. Um, okay. So this is the first thing. I got this skirt there. It kind of matches my shirt that I had already brought, but this is like a skirt. They also use it like if they need to like carry a baby, that like put it around them, or they can wear it as a dress. So there's many ways I can do with this skirt. I can't remember what the lady charged for it, but I feel like she's trying to charge like 30 something for it. It's around 30. But I was like, okay, because I think my mom pointed out the skirt, and then the lady was like, I'll put it on you. So we're like, okay. So then it's like the lady already put it on me, so I'm like, might as well get it. you know, that's how I feel. It's already on my body, so I have to get it now. And the next thing is magnet. So I think this is hand painted, and I didn't realize till I was home that there's supposed to be a head here. I don't know. For some reason, I was like, oh, a turtle without a head. That makes sense. In my mind, I was like, of course it wouldn't have a head. So then I come back and I look, and bam, the head is missing. So I was like, oops. I guess I didn't realize that one. Oops. Head is missing. Okay. And here, okay. This, I guess, is another magnet. Now this, I think, shows all the cities in Jamaica. All this stuff. Um, I did buy coffee there because they do have the best Jamaican coffee or whatever, because their coffee is from like their Blue Mountain, which is where they also get their spring water. So that was a good fact to learn. Um, so yeah, I got their coffee, and those like all the souvenirs that I got. Because I feel like it was just a lot of the stuff. I also got these earrings, but I don't have them right now. Um, but yeah, a lot of the crafts that everyone was trying to sell were the same crafts, so it was like it was just difficult to be like, because like each person, they're like, look at my stuff, if you touch it you'll want it, if you feel it you'll buy it, and it was just a lot of like, oh, but this is how they make a living, which is sad and unfortunate, because like obviously we see like the people like in our town or like somewhere else, they like try to like have the little jewelry center box, but we know that's not likely how they're making their full income. But in Jamaica, that is how they make their full income. So of course they're gonna overcharge, and of course they're gonna like be aggressive at you, because they gotta feed their kids, they gotta do all this, so they don't have time for it. And they think that everyone in America has money and has the ability to buy everything, but not us. So it was a little tiring just with how aggressive everyone was with like trying to sell you things, and just like how aggressive most of the men are. Were trying to flirt. They would call me things like princess, beautiful, and like one person said like, I like your color, and I was like, okay. And they'd be like, come here, princess. They'd make kissing faces, they'd do all this stuff. So it was very tiring. And like also, it's not just tourists they're doing this to, they're doing it to their local women. So I think just women in general, they're like, there's a girl, let me try to get her or something. I don't know if it works on the girls there, but it didn't seem like it. Like the girls there were pretty they weren't like aggressive, they're just like but I'm like, I'd be so tired having to do that every single day to every other guy that I pass on the street, because for some reason in Jamaica, a lot of the men are just like standing around like on the street. I mean, since it's a third world country, they don't. I guess they don't have work. They don't have anywhere to do anything to do or anywhere to go. So they're like, let me just stand around on the street, look at some chicks, call them out, maybe try to sell them some weed. It's just stuff like that. That's like they're just standing there all day, just like waiting for someone to they can holler at, and like nothing against that. It was just tiring that like, and it's like, and also you know they're gonna say something to you because they give you a look. They see you from far away. They give you a look that's like, I'm gonna say something, because we were there for a few days, so it was long enough to like get with the program and know when someone's giving you a look that's like, I'm gonna call you something, I'm gonna holler at you. So that was definitely like like it's it's nice to get compliments, but ooh, it's hard to feel grateful for the compliments when like some of the people saying it's not them, but it's hard to feel, I don't know, because I'm like, of course you think I'm beautiful. Not that there's anything wrong with not having teeth, but you don't have teeth. And yes, it's super poor, and it's sad to see a man call you princess, come here, sugar, or whatever, and they don't have teeth. They don't have teeth. So, yeah, it was just sad to see. And yeah, so the men, overly friendly. We noticed the women, they weren't as friendly. They were more, they wouldn't really show emotion or anything like that. And I'm like, of course they're not going to, because they have all these guys every single day hollering at them. Of course they're over it. Like, oh, like most of the women we, I guess, had interactions with, they were over it. They were like, they were like, I'd rather be anywhere but here, anywhere but somewhere. And it seemed like a lot of the women were working more than men, because like, I don't know what that was about, but like, they're the ones that I saw working more, or like having at least something to do. There were just so many guys just standing around. So yeah, I don't blame them. I was starting to get that way too. I was starting to get a little hostile with the men. I was starting to be like, no, no, because it's like the amount of times you have to say no, and it's like you can't say no with a smile when the 20th person is asking you for something within the short back and forth like mile between your hotel. You're gonna get aggressive. You're gonna be like, no, because you're tired. You're tired. You're tired. And like some of the guys would like be like, I remember you. It's like, no, you don't. I've never been to Jamaica. No, you don't remember me. No, you don't. But they'd say stuff like that. Oh, like, I remember you. Come with me. I'm like, I've never met you in my life, dude. I've never met you in my life. So that was definitely, I don't know, but I don't think we were prepared for how aggressive it is. It's like, unfortunately, my mom, she's a lot nicer than me. She smiles more to people. I'm pretty good at not. It's more harder for me to smile at someone than to not. So it's just it's just with opposites. Because I'm like, if it was just me, I think less people would come up to me. But since she's like smiling and be like, that's how it was. So she's just a lot more inviting than I am, and I guess I'm pretty cold. So that was like the second day was a whole lot of buy this, buy that. Um, we did go to a grocery store, and we bought some like snacks. I bought some good snacks there because I wanted to see like what is their local snacks that they have. Because I feel like if you're in a country, you should be trying their food and experiencing who they are. That's my opinion, but some people may think otherwise. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think, hey, if you're in a country, you should be eating and doing what they are doing, because that's not your country, that's theirs. So, okay. So let me start with this. Um, will it load? Okay, this is coconut bread. So it's like just like a big thing of bread, and it's like it has like coconut flakes, coconut flavor, and it was really sweet and good. And it wasn't too aggressive on the coconut part. Like some of them, they're real aggressive on like the coconut, and you're like, ooh. But this one, it was good. Um, okay. Next, these they're called cherry berries. So they're kind of an equivalent to like our cereal, like our. I'd say they kind of are like the fruity puffs or whatever, but I feel like they're better than the fruity puffs. I like them way more than the fruity puffs, and they're just a good little snack that was available. So I was happy to be eating them, and that is a um, that is made in Jamaica. It's a Jamaican snack. Um, there's like there's a few more, but there were some American products sold in there that like they sneak in, so you gotta be careful. Like they do have normal stuff that you would find here. Okay, these they're you can't really tell, but they're plantain chips. Ooh. And they're garlic flavored. They're so good, so good. I feel like they're better than the chips we have, and that's saying something. But the chips we have literally give me heartburn. But these ones they're good. I was like, mm. So snacks, food, Jamaican snacks and food. To me, I'd give like a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10, which I feel like is a pretty good scale. And um, yeah. So we went to the grocery store. So at the grocery store, we collected all our stuff. We went to the front counter. The girl was scanning, and since I noticed people were a little trying to like I don't know, charge things higher than they should be charged, I pulled out the calculator and I was like, oh, it should be around like $49 for these groceries. And this girl to our faces said, it'll be 61. And we're like, what? I was like, oh, but the conversion says like 49, blah blah blah. And then she said 61, and then she said, we use a different conversion. We don't use that. Which I'm like, you don't use the government conversion for then. So it's like they like to make up their own numbers as to how much stuff costs, and I understand. You think we have a lot of money, so you'll be like, that's gonna be a bunch of money. So we played the 61, even though we knew that's probably a lie. Because what do you mean? What do you mean you use a different conversion than the government conversions? And you're a grocery store, so they're supposed to use the same conversions. But whatever. We went back to the hotel. We decided to get some dinner. So for dinner, there was a local restaurant literally right next to the hotel. It's called the Mongoose. I think it was just called the Mongoose. But I got oxtail stew with some rice. It was it was so good. I was like, I know oxtail is good, but it really felt like the Caribbean flavors that like I like and that I've known. And like I usually I don't finish what I eat, but with this I pretty much almost finished it, and once we got back to the hotel I finished it, and it was just beautiful. And so it was the beef, the oxtail stew, rice, and they had like a little salad. The little salad, that was delicious. I wish they would have given more because they had like some citrus vinegar on there like like the flavors were boom in your mouth, and I was like, "Oh, I want more of this." But that's the oxtail. It was so like earthy and just it literally melted in your mouth as it should. I was like, it was amazing, and I was really happy about it. The rice was super good. We said white rice. They put rice with beans, so I'm pretty sure that's just what the white rice was. But it was still good, nonetheless. It was still delicious. Um, and so that was at the Mongoose restaurant right next to the hotel. And so then we went back, we slept. The next day was when we had like our actual scheduled tours and adventures. So the next day we toured, well, our tour was like a combination of river rafting, um, and horseback riding. And then we separately asked the tour guide, well, so it was like we hired it from a tour car company. So what they have is they basically have taxi tours that basically will connect with these events. So you'll easily like have a ride to and from these events, like, and then they'll drop you at your hotel. So, and our taxi guy, he was super nice. We learned a lot about him, a lot about his childhood, his children, his growing up, all of it, because we were in the car with him pretty much all day. And yeah, so he took us, the first thing we did was river rafting, which it was a cool experience. I like, at first I thought it was like we would just like be sitting like on a little raft, but excuse me, it turned out to be um like a big made up raft that they like, I don't know how they do it, but they basically make it out of like bamboo stumps, and they like put like a whole chair. I have a picture, let me do get to it. Okay, here's the picture of the raft. So they create these long things with the bamboo, and then they put chairs on them, or like, or they build bamboo chairs on them, and then the bamboo raft guide, because there's a separate guide, this is like a bamboo raft company, he'll stand on literally the long part, and he'll with a stick move it against the water and the rocks. And it looks hard because, but it was a young guy who was touring us, so he was, I think we were around the same age, and he was really funny. His name was Shadow. So yes, Shadow was really nice, cute. Yeah. And let me show a picture of, like, just so we could see how clear the water was and the beautiful landscape we were river rafting to. It was maybe like 45 minutes, but here is on the raft, they have um, a bridge, like a man-made bridge connecting from the trees across different trees. And this is just the beauty of Jamaica. It was just so beautiful. Everything, the water was clear, everything was green. Oh, it was sad to come back home and be like, where is this? Where is this? And it, yeah, it just, and it's sad that it's like these people are having sad lives around a beautiful place. Because a lot of their lives, they're super poor and they're sad and they're struggling, but then they live in a beautiful place. It's just a little disappointing, I would say, for them. It's a little disappointing. And this is like trees and stuff on the raft. And there was a house that was like, I don't even know. It was like, it was an interesting looking house, but it was on the water, and it was just, and this just to show like the struggle they have is like, you have a house, but it barely has like walls or doors or windows or anything like that, and that's, but then they're in all this beauty when they don't even have walls. And yeah, it's just sad, but, and it's like that's how a third world country is. It's like it doesn't matter that like they're surrounded by beauty, they don't have the necessities. And it just really makes you appreciate the necessities that you have just automatically being in the US. And yeah, so that was river rafting for us. It was great. We played some music. The tour guide played some music for us. It was like 45 minutes. Then we did horseback riding. That was really good. The horseback riding. Okay. This is me with they're like a little tiny horse. I didn't go on the tiny horse. They're just showing the horse, but that's the horse. I forgot what they said that horse's name was, but it was they're just showing the little tiny horse they had. Let me see. But the horseback riding was like an hour, but we went like in the water. We went all over with these horses. Let's see. Yeah. And like literally our tour, so we had two tour guides, one for each person, and our tour guide, one was like the same age as me, and then the other one was a literal child. I think he was at most 16. That's how young he was. He was at most 16. And I was like, that's a kid. Yeah, so a kid was our tour guide, and he was taking pictures of us, so he like told us all the poses to make, and but he was good at his job. But I'm like, damn, you're pretty young. Well, I didn't say that to the kid, but I definitely thought it. I was like, this kid's real young. But their school doesn't start till the beginning of September, so it must be just like a summer job, or he just doesn't go to school, which is nothing wrong with that. Don't have anything against not going to school. If you need to make money, you need to make money. Here's another photo of me on the horse in the green with the greens around. It's just beautiful. They told us like some of the history with like Christopher Columbus and like how he was just are left on their land. And there were slaves there too. We got the whole tea about Jamaica there. And then we did get in the water with these horses. So that was that was interesting. I didn't know that that would be happening. So when they were like get in the water, I was like, oh, okay. So that's the water with the horses. Um, yeah, I kept my shoes on because I'm like, I don't trust the water. I mean, I don't go to the beach here, so I'm not about to take off my shoes in the water there. So, yeah, but it is what it is. It was still fun. The water was warm because here, California, the water is cold. It's so cold, but their water is warm, so it's like it's not really like you have to get used to the water. It's just warm as it should be. But there we go. It's, yeah, warm water is the way to go. It's the way to go. And then our tour guide, he did give us some. He gave us some coconut. So this coconut, it's called the gel. It's jelly coconut. That's the I don't want to say brand. Um, that's the type of coconut it is. It's a it's a jelly coconut. So in my opinion, it felt like it was sweeter than like most coconuts I've tasted. So I felt like I really liked it. As you see, I'm slurping all up on there. Slurping that coconut. And then after the food tour, we went and we just he showed us like the view and basically where where he grew up. He gave all the backstory on that and like where the school is and just stuff that I mean we didn't really need to know, but it was nice to just like get that like in-person experience of this is Jamaica, this is how I grew up, this is how I fed my kids, this is how it is. Like a lot of the tour guide drivers would tell us about their lives and they'd be like, I only had 3 pairs of underwear at some point because I had to feed all my kids, and a lot of single fathers that we were noticing. So there's a lot of single parents and less parents together. But this is just like a weird rock that I saw there that I thought it was interesting shaped. So it's like, let me take a picture of that. But it was beautiful, the scenery he showed, because we went like through the mountain they have and just all around that. And we paid, because it wasn't part of the tour we signed up for, but we asked him like, oh, can you like show us around more and like give us the inside scoop. So he was really nice. It was a little extra charge because he's part of a taxi company, but it was good. And then I got some jerk chicken because I wanted to try it. It doesn't look appetizing, but it was really good. So I had a little issue with this jerk chicken shop. I'm still upset about it. Like still upset because once like we were there, we were understanding like kind of how the money worked and the conversions. So when I went to this jerk chicken shop, she told me the price. So I got 3/4 of chicken, 3/4 pound chicken. So I got 3 of this like package of chicken, which didn't really understand what that meant, but yeah. So I got 3 of these. I ordered 2 things of rice. The girl, I think, heard that I said fries, which makes sense. I'm not good at pronouncing, so it was rice that I ordered, but we got fries. The fries were good, but I'm not happy about this girl. So I put in my order. The tour guide is literally standing next to me. It's me and him. My mom was like waiting on the side. She didn't even see my mom. So he, it was me and him. I was like, "Do you take U.S. dollars?" And she was like, "Yeah, I take U.S. We take U.S. dollars, whatever." And and so, because at first they like give you like how much it should be in Jamaican dollars, and it was like 4,800. And conversion, because I started realizing the conversions, I was in my mind, I was like, okay, that's probably gonna be around $40. This girl, once I said US dollars, this girl looked at me, looked at him, and she said $150. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, with an eye roll. Yeah. She said, yeah, with an eye roll. Like, she said, that'll be 150. 150. And I said, really? And she said, yeah. And luckily, since we had the tour guide there, he was like, what the heck? And he's like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah. Again, she said, yeah. Because she knew. But it's like, she knew that he knew that wasn't the right price. She knew that I knew that wasn't the right price. And she still said 150 twice. Twice she said 150. And we both were like, what? Really? So then he paid with the Jamaican dollars, and this girl was not happy about it. She was not happy about that. But it's like, girl, you can't charge $150 for a chicken that was supposed to be $38. $38 because I gave the tour guide $40 because I was like, okay, he paid for it and then I paid him for it. I gave him $40. He gave me $3 back. So what is this girl's thing about 150? I'm still mad. I'm still upset about that because you can't go to my face when I know it's not that price and say 150. That's insane for a chicken. That's insane. That's insane. That's insane. So I was like, I've been telling everyone I know about it because I was, I'm still upset. I'm still upset. I mean, the chicken was good, but it wouldn't have been as good if it was 150. That's all I'm saying. It wouldn't have been as good. So, and you know where it was? It was at the Jerk Chicken Center, like right before our hotel. They call it the Jerk Chicken Center. And this girl, I don't know who her name was. I wish I would have written her name down because I was upset. I'm still upset. I wish I wrote her name down because I said 150. Absolutely not. Let me make up a name. If her name was Tiffany, Stephanie, Ava, I'm like, really? Really? You're gonna do that to your own black person? Ah, ah, really? I, it's like to your own people. You're gonna do that to your own people. The jerk chicken was good, but man, man, this girl made me angry. I'm still angry about it, but the chicken was good. Moral of the story, the chicken was good. She had no morals. So, yeah, yeah. So after that, we walked around more. Let me calm down. We walked around more. This was one of the beaches. You have to pay to go to the beach. So we didn't go to the beach. We just stood outside and took pictures of the beach. And it was starting to rain, and it's interesting because the beach like closes at like 4 or 5. So yeah, so you have to go to the beach. Yeah, 150. Yeah, but after that, mm, okay. Oh, also we got the fruit bowl from the hotel. I'm just seeing the pictures on my screen. I just want to show it. So they had the pineapple, the watermelon, and I'm pretty sure that was papaya. It's so good. Like it tastes completely different, obviously as it should, but that's it was really good. I'm a fruit girl. I'm an island girl. I'm a Caribbean, so fruit is my thing. I got some mangoes there too, from the streets, which is interesting because okay, I haven't talked about how they drive in Jamaica. It's it's pretty insane. So let me give the down low on how they drive. Nothing wrong with that. They're great drivers, clearly, because that could not happen here. There would be tons of crashes. Not when there's already crashes with rules and whatever. There's no rules there. There's rules, but there's no rules. I literally, so they drive obviously on the other side of the road, like most countries do. And first of all, so the speed limit suggested. Suggested. Being sober driving suggested. Is definitely suggested there. Do they do it? No, they don't. So their main road is like a two-lane, two like direction highway. So you got the two cars. Let's imagine, since it's the opposite side of the road, you're going this way and the other car is coming this way. So if someone's going too slow in front of you there and you're not having it, people, they decide, okay, there's two lanes. They decide, hey, this person, they're going a little too slow for my liking. So let me just create a middle lane to pass them. Yeah. So it's a whole lot of creating a middle lane to pass them. And that's just a normal thing because everyone did it. They all created a middle lane. And it's crazy because, like, you'll see the cars coming, like, on the other side. And you're like, a car is coming on the other side. But they're like, I'm still going to create a middle lane to pass this person. And that's how it's going to be. Let's create a middle lane to pass people. Like, I'm all for passing, but when there's like a passing section, which I'm pretty sure there were passing sections, but people were like, nah, that's not enough. We don't need a passing section. You just need to create your own lane section. And that's totally normal there. Like, the cops aren't gonna stop you for that. The cops do it themselves. They be creating a middle lane. So that's one thing. They create a middle lane. Another thing, they they honk a lot. Like, they don't do signals or turn signals or whatever signals. They honk at whoever. They'll honk if you're walking even close, like if you're walking by. It doesn't matter. They'll honk at you because cars have the right of way, pedestrians don't. And if you're walking across the street, you better hurry up because they're not stopping, they're not slowing down. They're either going the same speed or they're speeding up because that's what it felt like. It felt like they were speeding up. It didn't matter. There. This is the car. This is you walking. You see the car. Most places they're gonna slow down. Jamaica. So you gotta run. You gotta run. You gotta run. Because they're just gonna go. And if you're walking kind of like on the side of the road, because there's not really sidewalks-ish. There are, but not really. If you're walking, and if they're going to make a turn, and they feel like you're a little too close, they're going to honk at you, be like, get out of the way. And there's nothing wrong with that, but, you know, so if you're a pedestrian, it's a very pedestrian place, but you're going to get hit by a car if you're not looking. And you gotta run. You can't walk. There's no walking across the street. You gotta run, because you're gonna get hit. They don't care. They do not care. You're gonna get hit. Yeah, so that was a little wild, because you would have to time it right, because the cars aren't gonna stop. No. And if they see you, they're gonna honk and be like, you're in my way. Yeah, so Jamaica, you can't walk safely. You gotta run. You can't drive safely. They're creating random lanes. Also, I would like this rule here alone sometimes, because they be parking anywhere and everywhere. Anywhere and everywhere. The only thing they don't park in is in the middle of the road. Like, but on the side of the road, though, I wish I took some pictures, because it was insane. You see a sidewalk, there's 3 or 4 cars. This is the sidewalk, these are the cars. They don't even think about side street parking. They don't even think about doing this. They don't even think about doing this. They went, I'm gonna be on the sidewalk to park. I'm gonna be on there to park. And also, it doesn't matter where they're gonna be parked. Side of a highway, parked. And it's not even like, oh, I'm in my car just resting. No, they're far away. They're at church or something, parked like this, parked. And I went, okay, I guess that's how we park. I mean, I get towed for side street parking correctly. I got towed literally the week before we left. My car got towed while I was at work. Cost me $710 to take out of the tow yard, because they impounded it. And you're telling me in Jamaica they can just park like this, when I was parking like this and I got towed? I don't even think tow trucks are a thing in Jamaica. That's how much they're allowed to park wherever. I don't even think tow trucks are a thing. And that's fine. Power to them. They can park wherever they want. They could probably park on top of someone, and that'd be fine. They could park on top of a pedestrian, and that's how it's gonna be. Doesn't matter. That's how it's gonna be. And they're cool with that. Hello. Yeah, they're cool with that. And it is what it is. You want to park on top of a sidewalk like this, with your car going like this, you're with your car almost upside down, that works in Jamaica. That works. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And it works there. So, yeah. If you want more freedom to park and drive however, live in Jamaica, because, boy, let me tell you, they don't have rules. They have rules. They're suggested. Are they followed? No, they're suggested. Because also, if you do get pulled over by a police in Jamaica, what can you do? Imagine this. I don't know what you did to get pulled over in Jamaica, because you could literally do anything on the road and they're not going to pull you over. So whatever you did to get pulled over, you were being stupid. You were being dumb, because I don't think pulling over people is really a thing unless they really did something. Because people, they really drive however, the police drive however. So, you got pulled over in Jamaica. The cop says, hey, I caught you for drinking and driving, smoking and driving, doing all this and driving. You get 4 tickets. But then you go, I don't really feel like paying. Like, I don't really feel like getting tickets. So you can say to the police, hey, I got a little extra money, a little extra bonus at work, and I just have that in my pocket right now. Right now, I have that in my pocket, ready to go. I got an extra bonus in my pocket, ready to go. And, like, let's say the tickets total to, I don't know, $300. $300. Which that's a lot of money. $300 for a ticket, that's a lot of money over there. So let's say a ticket is $300 over there. If you somehow have like an extra 200 on you, you can say, hey, I got an extra $200 in cash on you right now. Do you want it? And the police will say, okay, yeah, go along, bye. Okay, give me that extra bonus. I'll take it. Give it to me. Nothing wrong with taking a little money, taking a little bribe. It's not bribe. You just have some extra money in your pocket. I'll take it. What tickets did you get? I don't remember giving you tickets. That's how it works in Jamaica. So, you can drive however. As long as you have money, you're ticket free. You're ticket free as long as you have money. So always keep cash on you in Jamaica, because if you want to say, hey, forget about that ticket, give a little extra money to the police. And they're not even going to be like, how dare you? No, they're going to be like, yeah, give me some money. You have extra, give me some money. Give it to me. Give it to me. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Bye. See you later. That's how it works. It's a transaction. Some countries, they do that. They do bribes here too, but like they're less likely to just say yes right on the bat. But Jamaica, you say, I have a little extra 200 in my pocket, in my sleeves, in my hair. They'll take it. They'll take it. It's theirs. And that's how it is. You know, as long as you don't like kill someone, I don't see the problem of doing a little bribing. Doing a little, I don't see the issue with that. You know, it is what it's gonna be. So that's the driving in Jamaica. And oof. Okay. Yeah, that's the driving. Now let's talk about the police. So the police, they're everywhere. I don't know if they're really policing, but they're everywhere. They're all around. They're standing around. They're eating mangoes. They're sipping on coconuts. They're everywhere. And then, as they're everywhere, you know, like most of our police, like they have like their tasers, they have their this, they have their this, they have their pistols somewhere. Their police got that too, but they also got their like AK-47s, just like they're just like wearing their AK-47s like it's a purse. They'll just be like, imagine this is their big gun. They're just like sipping on a coconut while they're carrying their purse gun around. They nonchalantly like carry it like it's a purse. This big ass gun. It's just swinging while they're sipping their coconuts, and you're like, okay, in broad daylight, and it's normal. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a little extra protection, but you're letting it swing around like it's a purse. It's like, and I saw those guns swinging, and it's just like this big ass gun, like it's a purse, like it's a purse. And as someone who's afraid of guns, as I should be, especially with how many school shootings we have in the U.S. I'm like the first time I was like, that's a big gun, and because I thought they were like on patrol, but then I'm seeing all the police with just these big guns, acting like it's a purse, acting like it's not even there. They're just like, this thing, that's just an accessory. I'm like, okay, okay, accessorize, but with that, I don't know about that, but that's how it was there. Just big guns, bribing. That's the Jamaican way. They go, hey man, that's the Jamaican way. And great culture, great this, but it will shock you. It will shock you definitely when you first get there. You're like, okay, the police are just having AKs like it's a purse. Okay, that's how it is. That's how it is. Okay. Power to them, I guess. Protection. Um, so that's the police situation there, which it is what it is. It's gonna be what it is. Bribing, big guns everywhere. Police, they're just standing around. I don't really know if they're policing, but yeah, they're there. And yeah. So now let's segue back to the men. So here, a lot of times in the U.S., we have men. They they just how men walk out of the house in the U.S. They have their pants, they have their shirt, they put a wallet, they put their keys in their pocket. That's it. That's it. Not in Jamaica. Not in Jamaica. Because you know why? The men have purses in Jamaica. Yeah, they have purses. They have purses. And I say we should adopt that here because a man with a purse, you know, is going to be so much more helpful to you than a man with nothing in their hands. Do you have anything to hold your phone? Do you have anything? But Jamaica, they got purses. They got cuter purses than I do. They got nicer purses than I do. And it's swung around them. They have a nicer purse than I have. They have their little purses. They're not big purses. They're like little small purses. And everyone has them. The kids, the little boys, the big boys, the teenage boys, they have their purses. And it's very interesting because even like the most gangster looking Jamaican, when they have like their pants that are like not even on them, they're falling down. They we'll talk about the pants in a second, but they got purses. The most gangster looking dudes there have purses. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think they just feel like, hey, why not have something to hold my stuff? They have purses. And they're stylish purses. They're stylish. And you could tell their purses specifically made for men. Their purses. So I was surprised to see that, but I was like, power to you. Like, carry a purse. Like, you need to carry stuff because it's annoying to carry a man's stuff in a purse. It's like, have your own purse. And they do in Jamaica. They have their own purses. And I think that's a good thing. They should. They should. They should. So they got them purses and I'm happy for them. I'm loving it. I'm not loving that they did say as a country they're homophobic. They did say that. They were very clear to tell us that. So, yeah. They're straight man with purses because they're homophobic there, which was unfortunate to hear because I thought they were very inclusive, but because I'm like, if your men are wearing purses, I thought you would be inclusive, but no. No, they're homophobic. Super homophobic. Which is kind of, is like, how does that work? How do you tell who's gay when your straight men are wearing purses? Like, okay, be homophobic, I guess. I don't know, but that wasn't that great to hear, you know, that they were homophobic, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's go. So, men have purses. Let me go back to their clothing. So, like the gangsters here, they like to sag their pants, but the way they sag their pants is a little different. So I feel like I need to get pants to show how they sag their pants because it's crazy. Okay, so I have pants here. Let me put these pants on because I'm pretty sure this is how they do it. Okay. So let me put the pants on and show you how they sag them. So I have these pants. So how I normally pants sagged, they're usually like this. How I normally see pants sagged here. In Jamaica, they'll go like this. So they're so imagine this is their boxers. They're wearing their pants like this, but their butt is covering the bottom of the pants. So you're telling me this is how they wear their pants. And then they walk like this. They walk like this. So you're telling me in Jamaica they put on pants only to kept them so specifically to their butt that you feel like their butt is the only thing holding up the pants. Cause the way I was seeing it, I'm like, it's like tight on their butt. It's like suction, and they're walking around like they're penguins because their pants are barely on them. It's like you might as well just wear boxers. Why even try to wear pants? Why even try to wear pants? Like, what's that about, Jamaica? What is that about? Tell me. Tell me, Jamaica, what is that about? But that's my gripe on the men in Jamaica. The women, they're always wearing pants, but the working women, the women that are at work, they're always wearing skirts. It doesn't matter if they're cooking. It doesn't matter if they're a security guard. If they're this, they're wearing a skirt at work, but they do wear pants outside of work. So that was interesting to see. So to round up my Jamaica experience, what would I say? Very eye-opening, very anger-inducing when it comes to people making me pay more money. I'm a cheap girl. I'm also black. I'm also from the island. So what do you mean you're gonna charge me more for jerk chicken, $150? Mm-mm. The food was good. It was always warm by like 7 a.m. It was 80 degrees. So if you're not into that hot weather there, it's not for you. If you're not into almost getting hit by a car every time you're crossing the street, it's not for you. If you're not into seeing cars like this on a sidewalk, it may not be for you. If you're not into seeing cars go make up their own middle lane when there's a 2-lane highway. It's not for you. I almost forgot to mention that as there is a 2-way highway and these cars are like going everywhere and crazy, what do you see? Food stalls, like people selling fruit on the side of the highway. And do you know what they have to do if you pull over and their fruit stall is here and you're on the other side of the road? Do you know what the fruit people have to do? They have to run over this highway where people are making a middle lane out of nowhere. People are driving crazy. People are bribing cops. And you're telling me this food stall person has to cross to tell you mangoes are like $20, and then you say, nah, that's too much for a mango. They have to run across through the highway with 2 cars, a bunch of cars going this way, and maybe 5 random cars making a middle lane to go faster. And you're telling me there's also kids with their parents doing that all day, every day on the side of the road. And it's like, I'm saying, I'm not saying like how we have like people on the side of the road, like the Mexicans on the side of the road selling their fruit like on residential streets. I'm talking about people on a freeway, with what we would consider a freeway, selling stuff. So yeah, it really made me appreciate how I don't have to do that to get money. I work in a safe, not fully safe, in a kitchen environment where I don't have to run across a freeway with cars driving crazy who don't care for pedestrians, who are not going to stop for you, who would rather run you over than slow down. That's what they have to do in Jamaica every single day. Every single day. They do play the reggae music every day, but that is their work life, is running across highways, trying to get tourists to buy from their craft center when there's 10 other craftsmen with the same exact product, with the same exact thing. And then they have to make stories about like, oh, my sister handmade these necklaces, these bracelets, these dresses, and you're like, I know some of it is handmade, but not all of it is handmade. So yeah, it's a whole lot of that. It's a whole lot of struggling. It's a whole lot of missing teeth, a whole lot of missing everything. But it's all beautiful in this country. The surrounding is so beautiful that even when they have the opportunity to go to the United States and work, they always come back because it is so much better to live in Jamaica for them than to continue living in the US. They just come for the work, and power to them to do that, to leave their beauty, to possibly get shot in the US if you work at a school. So power to them to do that. But they always like coming back. Like no one ever wants to stay in the US, like from Jamaica. They go to get their money, they collect their money, and then they go to live the Jamaican beauty, because there's nothing more beautiful. Well, I'm sure there's some places more beautiful, but in the US there's nothing more beautiful than Jamaica. That's just like I say, there's nothing more beautiful than Jamaica in the US. That's my opinion. I'm gonna feel like it's a fact, but that's my opinion. So that was my recap on my Jamaican vacation. Would you go to Jamaica? I would definitely go again, probably with a man, so I wouldn't be haggled so much. Have like a man accompany us or something. But I would definitely go again. I highly recommend going to Jamaica. Give the people money. They need it. They deserve it. Yeah. Even with the crazy situation, it's still a great place to vacation. It's still like I'm sure locals go missing, but I don't think that many tourists go missing. Like they know that like without tourists, Jamaica would fully fall apart. So they know they need the tourists, so they're not gonna do anything crazy to a tourist, because then all the other tourists will hear. So go to Jamaica, enjoy the people, enjoy the beauty, enjoy the clear blue warm water. Like I know Hawaii is like that, but it's different. It's different. It's definitely different. Enjoy the soul, enjoy the laughter of the people, because they are, even despite their situation, they're still happy. Despite being a third world country, not knowing if you'll have a meal the next day, they're still happy. Being in a third world country without having walls in your house, they're still happy. They're still happy without walls in their house. And I think that's amazing for people to be able to do that. And they're still happy even if they're homeless and they're asking another Jamaican for money. And that person doesn't have money to give them because they're also struggling. They're still happy. So, yeah. I really like Jamaica, and I feel like I'll definitely go back if I can, if I collect some more money. Because, yeah, even though we were only there for like 3 days total, we experienced so much. Like, if you schedule your vacation right, you can get a lot in 2 days, and I feel like the few days was perfect for us. And yeah, we made some Jamaican friends. We exchanged contacts. Yeah, yeah. So thank you for joining me live or whatever. And yeah, the Jamaican way is nice. Like, comment, subscribe, go on Patreon, and what else? I have merch, so follow that. Thank you. I'll be back next Monday for another live. Bye.